Let's be real. Things are changing very fast with the advent of AI. Just a couple of years back, front-end engineers used to take a lot of time to fix the layout issues. Even the back-end engineers are also taking a lot of time to fix the database issues or creating the queries or integrating or developing the APIs. But now with the tools like GitHub Copilot and Windsurf probably, and even with the small prompt to the GPT, so the code generation becomes super easy, right? So if you are a software engineer or a software developer and wondering how your role might be impacted with the AI and what are the action steps you have to take if you want to become a best software engineer going for the next 5 to 10 years, this video is for you. Yes, in this video we're going to discuss how to brace yourself from AI, especially when you're a software developer. Without any further delay, let's get started. To start with, initially, let's try understanding how was the traditional SDLC was there, software development life cycle I'm talking about, right? So if you see the SDLC, what are the stages it has? It has initially, we have to gather the requirements gathering or requirement understanding, and then comes to the design or the UX engineers where they will design based on the requirements they understand, and then comes to the actual development, right, or the implementation. Here the both front-end and back-end engineers work in this phase, and then comes the testing. Again, it has its own life cycle in the testing, bug detection, everything is there. So I'm not talking about those internal details as such. And after the testing, what we have to do, we have to go for the deployment. After the deployment, then it comes to the actual product release or the after maintenance and support, these things will come. This is the typical SDLC life cycle. So like we discussed just now, with this AI tools, the code generation is nowadays it's not taking much time, right? We are not spending a lot of time in Stack Overflow, or if you're not spending, we are not Google searching and we are not doing all the stuff. Those days are gone. Now we will see like what is the impact that will make on the SDLC life cycle. First of all, well, companies are not okay to use the content as it is when it is generated from the generative AI, right? Why? Because what are the products, what are the features that we are building, that is for our users or our customers. So we need to be extra cautious whatever the things that we are building for the end users, because that might impact the user experience to our business. Say for example, if I have a retail store, if I want to build a e-commerce website for my retail store, I should be extra cautious about my website I want to build it, because that is the face of my business and the user should feel like really interact with the website, that's the website or the interface that I am building it, right? So I am okay to use the AI in the process of building the website, but I cannot use whatever the content that's being generated by AI directly into the production. I am okay to use the AI, but also I would want to customize it as per my requirements and as per my mindset or as per my business motive, etc. Right? Who can do the customization? The person who is very proficient in that particular area can only do the customization, right? If I take back into the traditional SDLC life cycle, earlier, like couple of years back, if you see, right, even right now also, we are having a very big development team separately for front end, back end, and in the back end also Java developers are also there, and .NET and the Python developers, all the developers will be there in any product or any big enterprise application, right? But now the situation is, we don't need to hire that many people for our product development. Of course, the customization is still required, but we don't require, companies need not to require to hire those many engineers for the development. What they can do, rather than hiring 100 or rather than hiring 10 engineers, back-end engineers or the front-end engineers or software developers, they can hire only 2 to 3 people, right? That's the reality, because the coding is become super easy and it's not taking time, right? See, the searching in the Google and Stack Overflow, those days are gone, right? If you want to build a very big application, you will give a prompt and the code is generated, right? So if not now, tomorrow or very likely to future, near in future, this will happen very soon, right? So instead of hiring the 10 people, they can hire 2 or 3 people in that particular area, right? Will that create a jobs in case? That's a very important question to ask ourselves. Let me give you an example, right? Before the cloud era, in early 2004, 2020, 2014 or 2013, those areas, cloud is not that been adopted by many companies, right? So there the companies used to maintain the network team and the admin team and the DB admins and even the server admins and the security admins. So these many teams were being handled by the company to just ensure that particular infra or the whatever the servers, that to ensure that particular servers are running 24/7, right? But what happened with the cloud? The cloud would have automated all these roles, and these roles are shifted into the cloud, and this cloud created many new roles, right? Cloud and cloud engineers and DevOps engineers, these kind of roles have evolved much, right? So we all know how the cloud engineers and the DevOps engineers are paying now, and the demand for them, how it is increased. So you need to understand the roles will shift from one role to another, but it will not vanish completely. Say for example, in AI, right, in our product, right, AI, integrating AI and maintaining our own AI is not that easy as maintaining a microservices, right? So if I want an AI that should be accurately working, I should host it in my environment. For that hosting, it requires a special infra, not something like a CPU. It might require a powerful CPU and powerful GPU. So in this also, this is also engineering problem currently. So this can also, in this area also, there could be new roles might evolve. We don't know, right? In future, definitely, these are the key areas where the AI can create a new jobs for the engineers, right? So we should understand that, right? Now we will see, being a software engineer, what we have to do, what action items we should do right from today, right? So in future, right, companies are more likely to hire people who are good with full stack, right? So what does it mean? The full stack, traditional full stack is different, and the full stack evolved with the AI can be different, right? So the traditional full stack is, if the developer knows the both front end and back end, he can be termed as a full stack developer. But now with the advent of AI, full stack in the sense, the person should be able to understand the front end and also have a very good idea on front end, and also he should know each and every component in the back end as well, right? And also he should know how to test that particular application without any bugs, and he should also know how to integrate AI system into that particular product. So entire this combination can be termed as full stack developer near to the future, right? Today we are not calling like that, but in future definitely it's going to happen something like this, right? So one should be very good in front end, back end, and the testing, as well as integrating AI into your product if you want to become a good software developer. For now it sounds very crazy. It seems like entire teamwork is expected from one single person, but with this evolution, what we are seeing with the AI, in future there could be n number of tools might evolve, and for sure all these things, entire teamwork can be done by one single person. That is where the companies will look for a person who is capable of enough doing all these full stack things. The companies will be more interested for that particular person. So let's start learning. If you are a software developer, let's start learning the front end components. If you are only know the back end, if you are a front end developer, let's also try understanding how the back end works, and also the testing cycle, as well as the how you can integrate the AI into your product or into your feature. Something like you do integrate database, right? You will query the databases, you query some Elasticsearch or many databases and many data warehouses. You are part of your product, right? Similarly, AI can be also one layer that should be part of your feature or the product, right? Secondly, the system design. System design is very much important, because I know entry-level people will know how to code, but they don't know why they are coding and what is the need of that particular feature they are coding for. I'm talking about the entry-level developers, right? But now, even though if you are trying for entry level, you should know the system design. What does it mean? System design is the pre-work that's been done before the coding. So you should be very clear about, under given circumstances, with that backend knowledge or the front-end knowledge you have to build a system in such a way that it can handle all the requirements under your given circumstances. The circumstances can be limited infra or the limited resources, whatever, right? You should be able to crack that particular problem. This is also a part of problem solving you deal when you focus on the system design. I have made a separate video what is the problem solving and all. In case if you want to know about the problem solving, I'll leave link in the description. You can go and check it out there. And when we come back to the system design, in system design you have to build an application. The situation can be like you have to build an application that addresses, million people can access your application in the same time. So you should address that particular problem, and you should develop a system in such a way that even though million people are accessing your application should not be scaled, should not be goes down. And also you need to understand more core components in the backend as well as the front end. For example, where to use the caching, when to use the microservices, or when to go to the monolithic architecture, or when to use the queuing, or when to use what communication protocols you should use. All these things, right? All these things you should be very good at with. Okay, then only you will be a very good software developer, right? And last but not least, right, you have to also understand how AI works, right? Meaning you should know how you can integrate the AI into your workflow or into your feature, right? So if you want to learn about AI, what I recommend is just start with understanding the Python, and then you can leverage some AI based frameworks, something like LangChain or the CrewAI, right, or LangGraph, right? These are these agentic frameworks you can understand. And again, this is for software. If you want to become a software engineer and you don't want to deviate from what you are doing currently, so for them I'm suggesting it will be a completely different route. If you want to become a data scientist or the AI engineer, learning agentic frameworks will not help you as much as learning core fundamentals of data science and machine learning. So whatever I'm saying, it's only for software engineers. For data scientists and the AI engineer, if you want to become, I have made a separate video for that. I will leave link in the description. You can go and check that out. With that being said, that's all for this video. In the going forward, we're gonna upload more videos on AI and software engineering, etc. If you are interested, please consider subscribing the channel, and till then, bye bye.